Hello and welcome to the First Click Inc. podcast, where we talk about SEO, SEM, and SMM. My name is Chase Reiner, and we are with Erin McKay today, E-R-E-N McKay. And she is an expert with social media, and today we're going to be talking about Pinterest with Erin. So without further ado, Erin.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Erin, and you can find me on mckaysocial.com. And I'm excited to talk about Pinterest because it is one of my favorite social media platforms, simply because it's the social media platform that has given me the most referrals out of all social media platforms to my sites and my clients' websites. So, yay, Pinterest.
Yay. All right. Well, I mean, I know a little bit about Pinterest, Erin, but I don't know nearly as much as you do. Let's give the audience a little social proof to start out with. How many well, I guess it wouldn't be how many followers do you have on Pinterest right now?
Well, right now I have 22,000 and some thousand, 22,000 and some followers, but that's not the scope of my audience because I am on group boards, which gives me a reach to other followers that are not my direct followers through the group boards also.
Nice.
But I think the social proof is larger when you get like one of your pins to go viral and get like 44,000 repins, which one of my pins that I was doing as a test actually went viral and got 44,000 repins. And I'm just going to give you guys a tool right now. If you go to Google and you type out the word pin count, you will find a website which you can, it's called pinplugins.com/pin count. And you can enter any URL on the internet and click get pin count, and it will tell you exactly how many pins every single URL that you put in there. And it's a free tool. So pinplugins.com/pin count is a tool that I use to find out if something of mine, how many pins something of mine has had or a competitor has had.
Nice.
So that's a pretty cool tool.
And all of these tools are going to be in the show notes, by the way, guys.
Yes. I'll just put them all together.
So pin count's one. What else do you use? I mean, other than, okay, so I don't really use anything for Pinterest except for, I think just Buffer.
Okay. Well, Pinterest is fantabulous because it hasn't put all these restrictions that these other social media platforms, I mean, it has a few restrictions, but they're not super anal retentive like other social media platforms. So you can grow a following pretty fast. And, it's all about looking for your target market, no matter what social media platform you're in. And you can do that on Pinterest. You can find people that are just interested in one thing or another. So you can look at people's profile. And what I do is when I'm setting up a Pinterest strategy for a client is the first thing I do is I look at who their competitors are. And I know that, everyone's tired of talking about SEO, but to me, Pinterest and SEO go hand in hand simply because Google loves Pinterest and they're ranking Pinterest boards. And they're also ranking a lot of Pinterest Explorer URLs, which is the new feature for Pinterest, the Explore feature. So if you get your pins onto the top of that Explore feature and it's ranking for a certain keyword phrase, you're going to get visibility from the search engines to your pin through just having really great pins. But of course, you're not going to get to the top of the Explore board.
Wait, Erin, can you explain what the Explorer is?
Oh, okay. I'm kind of like, y'all know what Explore is. Okay, so on Pinterest, right, there's an option for you to explore. So let's say let's say I want to find anything that has to do about fashion, right? And I search for fashion. There's also the Explore feature you can search, but you can also find the Explore. It's in the URL. So if I go, actually, I think Google Plus copied Pinterest because they also have an Explore URL. on Google Plus. So let's say I want to explore fashion. Right there at the top at Pinterest.com, then it would be explore. It's going to show me everything that has to do with fashion. So it would be Pinterest.com/explore/whatever niche you're looking for, right? So a lot of these explore boards, if they're a long tail keyword phrase, or even if they're short tail, just because this is curated content of the best quality and people are the ones who are putting this up here. So that's why Google is really liking this, because, you know, pins are, people have voted. This is a really good thing. So if you explore art, for example, you go Pinterest.com/explore/art, you'll find like really fabulous art things. And you can go into, and when you go into the explore, they give you right away subcategories or things that have to do with art. So there's drawings, paintings, fine art, art history, design, illustrations, posters, photography, famous artists. You can also go really nichified into like watercolor, right? Which is a type of painting. There's acrylics also. So if you do explore watercolor, you'll only see watercolor pins on there. So it's a great place for you to find content for yourself, but it's also important for you to understand that if you have a pin that goes viral, then you're probably going to be listed at the top of this explore page, which is ranking usually in Google for a certain keyword phrase, at least for a while, because, you know, if somebody else gets more pins or gets hotter, you know, they're trending right now, they're going to bump you off of that space.
So I just looked up Pinterest.com/explore/SEO, and I got taken to, it looks almost like a group board. Is that basically what this is? It just shows kind of like a little overview of everything related to SEO and kind of whatever everybody's kind of pinning about?
If you put SEO, it redirects to search engine optimization. It's not a group board. It's actually Pinterest's search engine optimization board. There's a 8.7K followers that are following this interest. This isn't really a board, it's an interest. It's what Pinterest calls interest. So if you go to your Pinterest profile and you want to, you click on your followers, like you go following. So you're following this amount of people. There's topics, pinners, and boards. You can follow a certain topic. And right underneath topics, there's explore topics. So you click on explore topics and it gives you all of the categories, and the categories are listed under Pinterest.com/categories. All of the categories that they have an explore feature on that are the main ones, but these aren't all of the explore categories. These are just the main ones. If you click on them, then you'll go into like health and fitness, for example. If you click on the category health and fitness, underneath that, there's a bunch of stuff, but you don't see here, for example, the explore feature for yoga, and yoga has got a whole bunch of subcategories that are actually ranking in the search engines. So if you go into Pinterest.com/explore yoga, then you have yoga lifestyle, asana, yoga girls, men yoga, Lianger. I'm not a yoga person, so I don't know what this is. Lianger yoga, namaste, partner yoga. But notice how they don't even have certain boards that I've already seen ranking in Google for yoga. So not all of them are here. But this is actually a good place. Like when you're seeding keywords, I'm sorry, I have to go back to SEO. But if you're seeding keywords, whether it's for a Pinterest board that you want to optimize or for your own website, this is a great place for you to find what are related to that keyword, what are other words related to that keyword. This is a great way to use this as a keyword tool too.
Interesting. So how is this different from like just typing in the tag SEO onto Pinterest than in doing the Explore?
It's different because when you do a search, it doesn't come up the exact same things. First of all, I have to say that I'm kind of annoyed with the Pinterest search because they have it in such a way that when you start to type, they want to autocomplete for you. And many times that's not what I want to write. And they autocomplete anyways. So I have to say Pinterest should get on that. Like this is a positive feedback to Pinterest. Y'all should stop auto-completing my stuff because, but, when you do a search, it shows you all pins, your pins, pinners, boards. You can actually click on every single one. It also gives you, SEO. Do you want tips? So then it searched for the words SEO and tips. It's kind of like their little tags at the top, right?
Right.
The explore feature is actually something that you can't actually create an explore board because Pinterest is the one who creates that.
So it's like Pinterest's board. It's all of their boards, basically.
It's their own board. Yeah, it's their own board where they are the ones who, through their internal algorithm, who nobody knows what that is because we don't know their algorithm, but we know that they're picking the ones that are high quality to put
So it's
at
almost
the top.
it's almost like getting featured on LinkedIn.
It's getting featured. If you get one of your pins at the top of this, even for a few hours, you're going to get traffic to your, or at least a lot of repins, depending on the type of image that you have. All right. If you have a beautiful quote on Pinterest with a gorgeous image, you're going to get that. Like that's going to get repinned the heck out of. That doesn't mean you're going to get traffic to your website. Because a lot of people repin beautiful things just to collect them. The mentality of boards and people that are on Pinterest, it's like, when you were a little kid and people would like trade stickers or they would trade baseball cards, or it's like a collection. So people like to collect little gorgeous pens onto their boards just because it feels like they have all those things, even though we don't. It's all a digital thing, but they like to collect really cool things.
Or because it's recommended by somebody they trust.
Yes, absolutely. But you do have to understand that in the beginning, Pinterest was Wild West. I mean, I don't mean that in that way, but it was like everything that you penned, people would see every pen of yours. But their algorithm has changed a while ago, actually, and everything you pen does not get shown to all of your followers. They handpick what they're going to show you. They have done kind of what Facebook did, which kind of made me sad. But if you really pen high quality stuff and a lot of people repen your stuff, you're going to get featured to your own followers, and you might get recommended to other people based on their interests. Also, and they say this one was handpicked for you, right? So if you click on your Pinterest homepage, you'll notice what I'm talking about. You'll see pins from people that you follow, and then you'll see pins from people that you don't follow. And it's like they're saying, we recommended this for you. They're telling you what they think you'll like. So based on what you've penned, based on your boards, based on what you've liked, they're going to actually recommend stuff to you also.
Do people still use their their feeds? Because I feel like, I'm sure like the average user does, but like people in our market, because we're following so many people, do people really even still use that?
Well, yes, they do. People like to go to social to have fun and discover new content and be entertained. So, that's why I always say it doesn't matter what market you're in, you should be doing inspirational, motivational, and humor. I don't care if you're a plumber, you should still be doing inspirational, motivational, and humor, because people are on social to be entertained, motivated, and, that's what they're there for. And on my personal Twitter feed, if I'm entertained by something, I will actually tweet it out, pin it out, because I think it's funny and I want to laugh and I want other people to laugh.
Like that cat you posted the other day with the foot.
Yes, exactly. I'm constantly finding hilarious or cute, sweet, or really funny cat gifs. First of all, because it makes me happy, and those are some of my most engaging posts. And that helps if you're getting engaged on cats, it's going to help you with engagement on things that aren't cats. So if you've got that mentality, I am only XYZ, I can only talk about XYZ. Well, social is about the whole thing. And the Pinterest is really great because you can separate things into boards so people can follow just a certain boards of yours. I would say if you're doing you're creating a Pinterest profile, you want to put your best foot forward. So you want to have the most important boards for the market that you're going after at the top, the most beautiful boards at the top. So I put like my most beautiful boards, which is my art and artistic inspiration, fashion, because those are things that girls and women like a lot, the color pink. And my market is mostly women that I go after because I'm girly, and, of course men can follow me too, but they're going to have to, deal with all my girliness if they do follow me. But it depends. And also, if you're going after a certain market at a certain time, rearrange your boards to have the boards that have to do with that market at the top. When you're done following those people for the day, you can put, wait a while. If you're going after another market, rearrange the other market for your other boards to be at the top. So whatever market you're going after at that specific moment, you can rearrange your boards for that. And you can also change your bio to fit what your goal is, and I always say, instead of linking to your homepage, link to your opt-in page from the link section in your Pinterest bio, because some people actually click that. Depending on the market you're in, if you're in a market where you really want to go after business, like business to business, then I would definitely put the different business boards at the top, and I would have the opt-in, but I would also have a whole lot of individual business pins on these boards that are at the top that link to your opt-in.
Wait a second, hold on. So if you wanted to, say, for instance, start connecting with the SEO community, and you were to take your SEO boards that are actually at the bottom, because most of the stuff you've been talking about is fashion. First of all, in order to put those to the top, do you just go into your settings? Is that how you do it?
No, you just log into your Pinterest and you grab the board and you just pull it up to the top.
You just pull it up. Okay. All right. So that's easy.
Yeah.
And so
you just drag and drop.
So then that's my next question. So say you do have all your Pinterest boards at the top. What do you do to go about going after these SEO people? Do you go on their boards and comment and then like their pins? Do you start sharing on SEO group boards? What are some of your tactics? Do you use different plugins?
So there's an API on Pinterest that if you hit that, you're blocked, right? So you don't want to follow too many people per hour, right? You don't want to unfollow. Also, you can hit that block with unfollows also. So you only want to follow 295. So you find out how many are you following. You go and do the calculator. This plus this, I have to stop at this. So you stop before you hit that block. And commenting also, if you comment too much on Pinterest, people don't comment so much on Pinterest as they do on other social networks. Right. So, commenting is okay, but if you comment too much, you also hit a block. So I don't recommend commenting too much. Comment a little bit and just be like, repinning is good. One of the tactics that I found people doing on me, which was like, oh, okay, is they'll actually, once I follow them, they'll send me a direct message and tell me what they have to offer. And if it's something that I'm or even, hey, do you want to connect somewhere else to build a rapport? You can message people and say, hey, if you want to connect with me on Twitter, this is my Twitter profile, or on Facebook, or whatever. It's a great way to build relationships, but don't make it spammy. Don't be like, sign up for my newsletter.
How do you make that different than like those annoying Twitter spam messages I always get?
Because people aren't using the message feature as much as on Twitter. Like Twitter, everyone's using the direct message. I don't even recommend ever doing auto direct messages on Twitter. Like I'm against that. Yeah, I recommend don't ever do it. First of all, part of the Twitter rules, I know we're talking about Pinterest, but I'm going to have to just do a little FYI here. Part of the Twitter rules is you can only direct message people who have given you the authorization. What does that mean? Like, that's very subjective. Does that mean because they're following me back? Like, it's like, it's not a very clear cut who you can direct message. So if you're going to direct message, don't auto direct message on Twitter, because people are sick of it. Everyone does it. There's a billion tools out there that do it. Not a billion, I'm exaggerating, but like thousands of tools that do it. And especially if you're going to auto direct message, don't do it with one of those cheap ones where it's like via at Crowdfire, via at Unapply. Like, that is so ugly.
It's so tacky.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's corny, and people will be turned off by you as a person immediately because they're going to think you're a spammer.
It's like, I'm a professional at SEO and I make millions a year, but I can't even afford to pay $10 for get rid of this Crowdfire notification.
Right. Yeah, it really looks unprofessional, and people get turned off, and some people get so mad at that they will actually block you, and that's not good for your Twitter profile. The more people that block you on Twitter, you can hit a Twitter limit. First of all, don't piss anyone off on the internet, because they can make your life a living hell if you do. I'm not saying don't be yourself, but try not to piss off people, because, especially not the wrong type of people, because they can create thousands of fake accounts and report you for nothing. And by the time you get Twitter to understand that you did nothing, you're frozen or suspended for I don't know how long. So that's one good tip. But back to Pinterest, right? One of the things that people don't spend enough time is actually creating fabulous images. You're competing with top photographers on the internet. And so you need to, especially on Pinterest, if you have an image that's okay, that's not good enough. Don't put an okay image. You need to go to PicMonkey or one of the thousands of free tools out there. I actually purchased the paid version of PicMonkey because it's worth $33 a year. And make your image, if it's okay, make it fabulous. Make me want to repin that, before
I want to
you
add in
even
here.
Go ahead.
Just kind of going off of what you're saying right now is not only just creating images, but making sure that if you're going to be putting them in your website, make sure that they're shareable. And I see a lot of websites. I go, oh my God, I want to share this on Pinterest. I finally have something good to share. And I click it and it's like, it shares the homepage, description in the title. And I'm like, wait, and it's like some image of something that's completely unrelated to the blog. So, make sure you optimize those. You can use a couple plugins. One is called SSO Pro, and another one's called Social Media Warfare. So make sure you do that. And
if you're on WordPress, I use Pinterest Pin It Buttons for images by Kanya, because by Kanya, Canha. I'll give you the links to all these in the description, so you can put it in the description of Podbean or wherever. Pinterest Pin It Buttons for images by Kanya, even though it hasn't been updated lately, it's just the prettiest pin it button there is, in my opinion. There's also Pinterest Pin It Button by Phil Dirksen and Nick Young, which is it's not like as cute as the Kanya one, but it's still cute. And I'm into cute, right? Because women are into cute. If it's got this little tiny pin it button, that's not going to motivate me. Make your pin it buttons super cute and large enough. And that's why I use those plugins, even though they haven't been updated, but they're still safe. I've passed them through the WordPress database vulnerable plugins, so they're safe. But the first place that you should start your Pinterest marketing is on your own website. Like Chase said, get a good plugin that's going to get a great description, so that when people get to your website and they know that you're not one of those anal retentive people that copyright. I'm not that everyone that copyrights are, but they know that they're not going to get sued for pinning your image, right? For spreading the word about this website. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just when people go all crazy because their image is on Pinterest, when they're actually getting more visibility for their work, I think it's a little bit cray-cray. But moving forward, if you put that pin it button right there on the actual image, you're going to get people not scared of repinning your image. Also, a friend of mine, Steve Garanser, he did a test to see whether images that had the logo of the website and images that did not have the logo of the website, which ones got more repins? And the ones without the logo got more repins. And the reason is because people are scared of repinning images that have the logo, like the brand name, like www.com at the bottom of the image. They think, oh, this person's putting their website there because they don't want to be repinned, copyright, blah, blah, blah. So they get scared of repinning. So I would say don't put your website at the bottom of your images, because unless the image is like, 47, blah, 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 and have somewhere where feel free to repin or repin this exclamation mark. That way, if you do have the logo and it's like an image about top 10 SEO tips for 2016, let's say, you have the words on there. Please repin. You're telling them to pin it, and then you can put the logo. That way, they're not scared that they're going to get copyright, blah, blah, blah. So but if it's not an image that actually has text on it, it's just like a beautiful picture, don't put your logo on it so you can get more repins for sure.
Okay, well, I'm sure people are wondering next, what do you do, Erin, personally to start getting your pins to show up or start to get more repins? I mean, of course, there's the organic option, but there's also the option of trying to just get a big following and then sharing your pins out to them, either by maybe direct message or through cross-promoting through different social media platforms, or however you want to do it. But what do you recommend?
Well, a lot of people like to say that they made it online on their own, and I call bullcrap on that. Nobody makes it online on your own, because you need to be connected to other people, and other people need to promote your stuff. First of all, you're not going to rank if you don't have people linking to you. And if nobody likes you, nobody's going to link to you. So, how are you going to rank show me a page that ranks without a link. It doesn't. All right. So of course, I'm not saying, crappy links like comment links or sidebar links or footer links. I'm talking in content, freely given links that are relevant from a relevant page to your page. But, the first thing that I would say is make sure that on your website, you have really high quality images. Make sure you have those plugins that give the OG metadata when the person repins from it. Make sure you have the pin it button right there on every single image so that they are enticed. Actually use a call to action. Say, hey, please repin this. Sharing is caring, That actually works, I had a post of mine that I wanted more links to, and I just said, hey, can you please link to this post so that other people can know about this? And I got a whole bunch more links just because I asked people to link to me on the post itself. And it was a really good post. It wasn't like I was asking people to link to something that I didn't spend 2 weeks working like a mad dog on, because sometimes that's how long I take with one single post, because I do like ginormous posts sometimes. But one thing that I would say is once you get all that there, make sure you get the EXIF data all correctly done on the image itself. That will help rank everywhere if you have the EXIF data, because Google bots are actually reading EXIF data on the image, and you need to have the image, not a PNG, but a JPEG so that it's readable.
So you mean like making sure that the file URL is correct, and if
and
it
also
allows
the
you
properties of the actual image. So you go into properties and make sure that you have the right words in there in the EXIF data, right?
Is there
and
anything
the right
that
URL
that lets you like kind of shortcut that makes things a little bit faster, or
no? You're just gonna have to work, bro.
Yeah. I'm sure at some point they'll probably have something like that where you just put in the title or you just drag the image, kind of like Tiny Ping, where you just drag it in there. It lets you.
No, there's not,
so
because
much.
every single image has to be unique, right? You can't it's just like SEO. You can't just put the same title tag everywhere. Everything has to be unique. If you put duplicate content, duplicate titles, that's all going to hit under the Panda. So not that there's such a thing as a penalty, but Google said everywhere that they don't like duplicate content. So you need to make everything unique. You actually have to use your brain and right? The EXIF data. Okay, so the other thing is this, if you're ranking in Google, you're going to get a lot of pins if you make sure that every post of yours has to have an image, all right? I know that a lot of SEOs write, and they don't put an image. It's really easy. There's Quozio, there's PicMonkey, there's, give some more. There's Pixlr, Pixlr.
There's Canva.
There's Canva. There's so many free tools out there for you. There's GIMP, which is downloadable software, but you do have to learn a little bit, spend some time learning how to use that. But
what I like to see, really quick, what I like to see is when people put in their blogs, like something that's like really profound, like the sentence that they were mentioning, and then they put that as a quote inside of the image. And then there's a little pin button right there, so you can just pin that so that it basically shares the
quote and the image. Yes. So absolutely make sure that you have your images beautiful, and every post should have an image, because Pinterest in the beginning people thought was just for women, and it has expanded its market to all sorts of industries, and it's being used by everybody. And the fact of the matter is, you can also what I always say is make sure you got a great head picture on your profile. Make sure that you create like a really great bio, put your Facebook, put your Twitter, so people know that you're a real person. It's when people see you everywhere, they're not scared of you. They don't think you're like a bot or a hacker or a spammer or a pervert. So it's very important to put your face up there. If you're a guy, it's even better to put you and your kid, so that people have that good first impression, and they know, or your nephew if you don't have a kid, on Pinterest, because there's a lot of women, and women are kind of scared of men online, which is understandable because there's nice men, but there's a bunch of not nice men. But back to Pinterest profile. You got your profile ready. What do? You put your most important boards at the top that are going to appeal to your target market. Then you go search for those who are already serving who are your competitors. You're going to go look at who's following them, and you don't follow everybody that's following them, but you follow people that look like they would be into, like if they have an egghead, don't follow them. If they have nothing in their description, don't follow them. If, it's just like on Twitter, if somebody has an egghead, and if they have, unless you know them and they just have an egghead there, but you know them personally, don't follow eggheads. Don't be following, like, let me just go back to Twitter again. I'm sorry, we're talking about Pinterest, but when you see people say buy 50,000 followers and they've got that background for buying followers, you don't want to follow any of those people either. Back to Pinterest. All right, I just had to throw that little tidbit of Twitter in. So what you do is you make sure that your profile is ready. You have the link going to your opt-in, and you have the top boards, the boards that would be interesting for your target market. And inside those boards, you have the top pins that go back to your website, whether it's a blog post, but especially have a few of those in there to your opt-in, because you want people opting in. Then you go ahead and follow. Like I said, you can actually follow more than 300 people a day, but there is an API limit per hour or per hour and a half. I don't know exactly how long, but you follow 292, let's say. Wait 2 or 3 hours, you can follow 292 more. You know what I mean? And you just keep doing that, and they're going to go and they're going to find your stuff. One thing that I always say is make sure to start, just the fact that you follow, you're going to be invited to pin onto group boards. And if the group boards have to do with your target market, or with the target market of someone that you know, like, or trust, and it would be a good fit for them, then go ahead and accept that group board. Because even if it's a group board with only 1,000 people or 500 people, still, those are 500 people that are not following you that you're going to be able to reach by just being a part of that group board.
Erin, do you pin your pins on just one board, or do you pin it to multiple boards? And if so, how many? So
I go to the website and I pin it from my board to just one board. However, it's just one board of mine where I'm not in a group board. But since I have so many group boards, I repin them, the pin onto group boards, right? So definitely, I don't repin the same pin to 2 different boards of mine that are just mine, but I'll repin it to boards. I'll repin it to like 10 different boards if they're all relevant. It has to be relevant. So if I'm a part of a group board, because see, the group board is not my exact followers of that board that I pin to. It's other followers.
How do you find group boards, Erin?
I've been invited to so many simply because of the visibility that I have online. A lot of people invite me to their group boards. But if you're not, getting invited to a bunch of them, I would say look at the group boards and connect with that person on Twitter, tweet them, retweet them, build that rapport up with them first. And if you can get them on Skype, have a Skype group where you're networking with other bloggers, other people in the industry, because they're going to have a group board and you're going to say, hey, you got a board about this. Can you put me on your board? It's, you're already voicing with them.
Yeah,
they're not going to have a problem.
I've been able to find a couple for the SEO industry just by like Googling top SEO group boards on Pinterest. And there's like some people who made some articles about it. So that's pretty cool.
Yes. But I wouldn't I'm not the type that just hard cold calls. I'm a little bit shyer than that. I do I do the foreplay, right? I don't, I'm not like, nice to meet you, let's go to bed. No, it's like I talk and I tweet and I retweet and I repin and I blah, 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 comment on their blog. So they know who I am before I ever hey, do you want to get on? I actually go so far as to add me on Skype where I can talk to them and they can see I'm not a spammer. I'm not a bad person, blah, blah, blah. And that way it's not, first of all, I don't like hearing no, right? I'm not a no person. So I make sure that when I do ask, I've never been said no to any group board because I make sure that I do the whole foreplay before. I'm sorry, everyone understands what foreplay is. So, that's what I think you should do with your Pinterest boards.
I've been declined by many group boards, but I've also been accepted to a good amount. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you're a man. I guess I'm a little bit more thin-skinned than you are. I don't go around just bloom, can you this, can you that? I'm not like that.
I do like what you said, though, about communicating with them, kind of making sure that they know that you're a human, because I feel like most of the time when people will message me on these social media platforms, even with LinkedIn, with that new feature too, it's so odd they put that in there. It's just you can just click great post to everybody and you don't have to do anything.
That's weird.
Have you seen that?
I hadn't seen that, but one thing I want to say about LinkedIn, I know we're talking about Pinterest.
Wait,
but
no, I wasn't finished. No, I wasn't
ahead.
finished. Hold on. I like that you do that because what it does is I always make sure to respond to people because I want to make sure that I'm human. Okay, go.
Okay. All right, okay, go. That was funny. No, so if somebody on LinkedIn wants to add you as a friend and they don't have a profile picture, I don't recommend accepting somebody like that. I have in the past, but I've regretted it and then I unfriended them because they go ahead and these people are weird. They add me and then they start giving me all these recommendations for everything that I am. And I don't want a whitehead giving me a recommendation. So I have to remove them as a connection because I only want recommendations from people that that are in the industry that know what they're talking about. They're not just some whitehead on LinkedIn, right?
Well,
so
Pinterest. LinkedIn is probably the next one we'll do.
Okay, that's cool. But yeah, the other thing that I want to say about make sure that you've got your website SEO'd is do keyword research and create Pinterest boards based on your keyword research, because those might actually rank, and always make sure the cover is the best image that you have. And once the Pinterest board of yours is ranking, you want to be sure you don't link to anything that Google says for you not to do. Like I've had clients in the past where, I SEO'd their Pinterest board. They were ranking, and, I had to leave them because my dad was dying. And I said, don't let anyone touch this board. And they did, and they lost their rankings because the person put a gateway page. And, cloaking is against Google's terms of service, if y'all don't know. So don't let anyone put cloaked links on your Pinterest board, because Google will unrank your board even if it's ranking for 2 years like that. So definitely make sure that the image matches the content on the page. People get really angry when you pin an image and when they go to the page, the image is nowhere to be found. So,
well, it doesn't really make sense for that to happen.
But it happens a lot.
It's kind of the same thing with title tags. When you do a title tag and then the header is completely different.
And also, like if you repin an image, make sure that you're repinning an image that actually goes to the right URL, because if you're repinning images and they're going to bad URLs, then your profile gets what do you call that? Flagged internally. Yes, it gets flagged internally because you got a bunch of crappy pins. So make sure you go through your pins. I mean, I've got over 6,000 pins, so I don't have time to go through all my pins and make sure they don't have bad links. So when you see a bad link, take that pin off, just delete the pin, and make sure that you're pinning, even if you're repinning, make sure that it's a good link before you repin it.
Yeah, maybe they'll have a app in the future that lets you know when one of your pins 404s. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be awesome, because who has time to go through things, almost. Actually, you can only pin 100,000 pins, just so you know. I know, like, who's going to get to 100? Yeah, you can only pin 100,000, then you have to create a new Pinterest. Well, actually, a friend of mine, almost 2 years ago, she's not even a professional, and she was already at 100,000 repins within a few months. And I'm like, do you just Pinterest all day long? Like,
do you even Pinterest, bro? All right, so Erin, I don't want to have this thing go too much longer because I don't want the people to fall asleep. But let's kind of sum up like the main points, and also if you can maybe tell the audience what your ideal pin would look like.
Oh, the ideal pin would be pinned onto an SEO board and would have a co-occurrence words in the description, and the image would be so fantabulous, everyone would want to repin it. Also, if it's a pin about a topic, like top 5 Twitter tips, you want to have the word of the post, the wording on the actual image. Make sure that the wording is readable, and so that's another tip right there. You can do this all with PicMonkey. What the ideal pin would look like, like I said, co-occurrence words. Have the link after the description. Always put the link there too, so that people can link on the place on the actual pin where it says website, on the image, and in the description they can link. So there's 3 places where they can link to go back to your website, and repin it onto group boards. But don't repin it onto other boards of yours, or else you're going to be seen as a spammer by Pinterest.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, if they can remember all of that, then I'm sure they'll have a great Pinterest marketing technique. I don't know where I'm going with this, but anyways, do you want to say anything else, Erin, about this Pinterest?
I think Pinterest is still alive. I know it is, because it still gives traffic. People should definitely spend time on their images. And Pinterest starts on your own website. Remember that it all starts on your own website, being correctly SEO'd and having the best image possible. And that's pretty much it.
Right on. Well, where can they find you on Pinterest, Erin?
That's pinterest.com/ERENMCKY, but they can find me easier at mckaysocial.com. That's where they can find me for anything social media or on-page SEO. That's what I do.
Nice. Yeah, she's a social media expert, so if you need help in that area, don't forget to go check out her website. so that's it for us today. Thank you, Aaron, for joining us, and hopefully we will be doing another one soon. Maybe the next one will be on LinkedIn.
Okay, bye everybody.
Goodbye.